Lima, Peru, a day after granting a medical pardon to former President Alberto Fujimori, who has been imprisoned for human rights abuses. Peru's current president, Pedro Pablo Kuczynski, came under attack from both lawmakers in Peru's Congress and from human rights experts. Rights lawyers in Lima, the capital, say pardons and sentence reductions are not permitted for people tried for rights violations under the rules of the Inter-American Human Rights Court, which adjudicates some human rights cases in Peru and other countries that are members of the Organization of American States. Two of the cases brought against Mr. Fujimori were tried by the court. The pardon does not conform with the Inter-American Human Rights Court ruling, said Francisco Sobetón, director of the Pro-Human Rights Association, in Lima, which represents surviving family members of the cases. Mr. Sobetón said his group was preparing to file a report with the court seeking to have the pardon reversed. He also said his group would file a formal complaint to Peru's Ministry of Justice, seeking an audit of a medical report that Mr. Kuczynski's office had cited in its statement announcing the pardon on Sunday. The report said Mr. Fujimori suffers from a progressive, degenerative, and incurable disease, and the prison conditions pose a serious risk to his life, health, and integrity. Mr. Fujimori, who is 79, suffers from arrhythmia and tongue cancer, among other medical problems, and was taken from prison to a hospital on Friday after his blood pressure dropped, doctors said. The pardon is the latest development in Peru's continuing political crisis. Mr. Kuczynski granted the pardon just after he narrowly escaped being impeached by Congress over accusations connecting him to a graft scandal extending across Latin America. The impeachment vote failed because a faction of Mr. Fujimori's party led by his son Kenji abstained, denying Mr. Kuczynski's opponents the supermajority required to remove him. The pardon was seen by some as a political reward to the son. I think that those of us who are committed to governance need an explanation, said Congressman Richard Acuna, one of those who abstained. After the vote, Carlos Bay Sombrio, the Interior Minister, announced his resignation. Now at least 3 lawmakers have come forward to say they will resign because they oppose the president's decision to pardon Mr. Fujimori. I do not agree with the decision, Congressman Vicente Zabalos said. It does not fit with my political convictions. As the democratically elected president of Peru in the 1990s, Mr. Fujimori led the country through a period of economic revival. But he was removed from office in a corruption scandal and later convicted of human rights abuses that the military carried out in his name. If he serves his sentence to the end, he will be in prison for 14 more years, or until he is 93. Even from prison, Mr. Fujimori has exerted influence on politics, and his supporters, so-called Fujimoristas, dominate the legislature. He also has supporters among Peru's citizens.